An Evening at the Movies is a proud member of the I Did Not Make These Rankings podcast network. Other shows in the network include Mass Debaters, The Sip List, Crushgasm, Love is Black, Men Are the Prize, Crime Rewind, and Literature Reapers. You can find out all about our shows and more at idnmtrpodcastnetwork.com. Happy listening. You are now entering the world of a movie review. A world full of drama, joy, ridicule, movie spoilers, unpopular opinions, and adult humor for as far as the eye can see. Welcome to An Evening at the Movies.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to your favorite movie-based podcast. This is An Evening at the Movies, the podcast where we eat the stale popcorn, we drink the watered-down sodas, and we talk about all of our favorite movies and why we love them. We are happy to be here on this, albeit an hour and 13 minutes late, but I digress. We're still here, and my co-host is moving around doing something. So, is that a box of donuts you have in your hand?
No. I wish it was donuts.
That's
No.
I was like, you better be fucking sharing.
I'm trying to make myself look a little less fat on this screen by not having the screen point up at me, but they're just not working out.
I'm not saying anything because the last time I made a smart ass comment, I got threatened to be killed. So,
well, that's one of those things you can't say about other people to their face. They can only say it about themselves.
Well, not to your face. Technically, I'm saying it to a screen. Just you're on the other side of that screen. So,
anyway.
So, for those of you who could not tell from the dulcet tones and the other coming from the other side of my screen, everybody's favorite co-host is here. Say hi, everybody's favorite co-host.
Hi, everybody's favorite co-host.
Otherwise known as Beverly Marsh. Oh, wait.
Read that again.
Fuck.
It says Beverly.
Okay. My bad. And I'm getting old and I need fucking bifocals, so don't shoot.
This used to be a beaver trapping town. Still is, am I right?
Fucking beep beep, Richie.
Oh, and I'm happy to be here. That was my introduction.
Eventually, yours truly is going to get his goddamn soundboard figured out, and we will have sound effects to go with our illustrious jokes. And what? Oh, I know what I was doing. I'm pulling up the. But while I'm pulling up my background information, co-host, would you like to explain to our awesome listeners what this month's theme is all about?
Yeah. So I am doing that, and we are in the middle of Summerween, so it's just celebrating Halloween in the summer, and there's nothing wrong with that because I celebrate Halloween all the time. But this month we are doing specifically summer-themed horror movies, so all of our horror movies take place in the summer. Oh, now your live on Facebook is working?
I didn't do anything. I swear to God.
All right. Well, anyway.
Well, I mean,
I went to go post the YouTube link because that's what I've been doing, and it showed up right there, and I was like, well, okay. You might go make sure it's set to public since it's working. So yes, we're in the middle of Summerween. We have covered I Know What You Did Last Summer and Jaws, And we still have to come Friday the 13th, part two. But today we are discussing It Chapter 1 from 2017. And I really wish Abby was here because this is one of her like favorite movies. She was so obsessed. I've seen this movie a million times, both because of her and because I really like it. But yeah,
I mean, if I remember correctly, I believe Abby's debut on An Evening at the Movies we discussed a
probably.
version of it that
Oh yeah,
I mean
that's
it was
true.
1990, but
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with 1990 per se. And we're gonna discuss some stuff, and there may be some discussion about aspects of both versions of this movie.
I'm sure we have to.
So, I mean, there's no sense in ignoring the, you know, dead horse in the room.
The
So,
giant Pennywise in the room.
I, I mean, I definitely know the Pennywise topic will come up at some point in this show,
Well, duh, it better.
but I mean, you know what my top five list is, so
Yeah.
cut it out.
Oh
But
crap, I haven't ranked mine. I wrote them all down while I was watching the movie, but I haven't ranked them yet. Guess we'll do it on the fly. But
I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie, neither have I. But you know, it is what it
well,
is. So
we will see.
it 2017. Are we ready, people?
Heck yeah.
Buckle up. It's going to get graphic. Let's see.
But
It
not group
20.
teenage orgy graphic.
No,
Not gangbang
no.
graphic.
Thank.
Yeah.
So, spoiler alert.
For the gangbang?
We're just going to get this out of the way now because there are people out there that have read the book. They've seen 1990. They've seen 2017, and they've seen it chapter two.
I think it's 2019.
Eh, or 29,
18. Oh,
2019. It's
I didn't
still,
hear what year you said. Sorry, you cut out. I was thinking it was 18 or 19. But
yeah, I don't think they did back to back years, so I
yeah,
think
so
it's
probably
2019.
19.
But one in the what 2 year gap in between the two movies, it was hotly discussed amongst hardcore Stephen King fans that have read the book and seen it chapter one about whether or not because the director went definitely a little bit more handcuffs off with chapter one. So the theory was, well, maybe he'll get ballsy enough to.
You're muted, buddy.
Yeah, I bumped my mic wire. Um, and tackle the infamous celebration ritual, otherwise known as the rite of Chud. And at the end of the day, I'm glad that he opted not to go down that road.
Yeah, I
I mean,
don't think we're ready for that.
I know we're not talking about it, chapter two, but at the end of the day, child pornography is wrong, and I will stand on that soapbox and die
Yeah.
on that hill. So,
It wasn't
and to
necessary.
me,
It was only necessary in Stephen King's cocaine fueled mind. So,
yeah, and to me, 12-year-olds reenacting that on screen is just
no.
an excuse to make child pornography. So,
But it did move
anyway,
people wondering because chapter one was so much more faithful to the source material than the 1991 was for various reasons. It was a mini series. It was on TV, so it was FCC regular. Like, there's plenty of reasons why they're different, but
Oh
regardless,
yeah.
this one was a lot more faithful to the book. Still left a crap ton of stuff out, but it's like a 1,500-page book. What are you supposed to do? And they made it into two movies, which made me really happy because also putting all that into one 5-hour miniseries was never going to work. So,
3 hour miniseries, but yeah,
oh, I thought it was
exactly.
4. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So
No,
there's no way.
the the stand was 4. It was 2.
You mean 3? It was longer than 2 hours, wasn't it?
It was 2 hours per episode.
Right. And how many episodes were there?
2.
So it was 4 hours. Okay. I'm
Well,
saying
four.
total. Yeah, I was saying total.
I'm talking about DVD where there's no commercials and all. They take all the commercials out. So,
Well, right. Okay.
but
So yeah.
so background information for those of you who would like to know about um, it 2017. Ironically, it 2017 was released in 2017 on September 8th. It was um, um, I'm going to let my co-host tackle the last name, but it was directed by Andy.
I want to say, well, I don't know that it's even Andy. I think it's Andres. I mean, he's, what was he? Argentinian. I'm going to say Muschietti. I don't know. That sounds Italian. Either way.
Works for me. Was distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. Had a budget of 35 to 40 million dollars. And fun fact is the number one highest grossing horror movie of all time
Really?
with
Okay.
a whopping box office of $704.2 million.
Nice. Good for them.
If you have not seen it, chapter one, and need one, we're going to be spoiling everything left and right. So you can definitely put a pin in it and come back to finish the episode. I always come back to finish the episode though. And why is there no God? Because I have to freaking alter that. If you need to come back and watch, you can go find it on HBO Max. I think that's what it's called now. It was
Yeah, I
HBO
think it was
Max, then it
HBO
was
Max
Max,
again.
and now it's back to HBO Max again. So um, I have some Rotten Tomato scores. Co-host, would you like to wager a guess as to what you think the tomato meter and the popcorn meter is?
Sure. Um, Popcorn meter, I'm going to go 90%. I have never talked to anybody that didn't like this movie. Um, Tomato meter, I'm going to go like 84%. Because critics can always find something to bitch about.
Missed it by that much. The tomato meter on 388 reviews gave it 2017 a whopping 85%.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was real close.
Yeah. Covering the spread. Haha.
For sure.
Miss you, Chance of Grife. And the popcorn meter on 50,000 plus ratings gave it an 84%.
Oh, wow. I expected that to be higher. Okay. Interesting. Guess there are some people that didn't care for it as much. That's okay though. All right. Well, I was sort of close on one of them. Um, so the movie did get some awards, nothing, big to scream about, obviously, because it's horror. Although I would argue, and I will die on this hill, Bill Skarsgård deserved an Oscar nomination for his portrayal of Pennywise. That transformation and the way he did the voice and just everything, like, I don't care if it's a horror movie or not. If this wasn't a horror movie, I think he would have gotten a nomination. So fuck the Academy.
Yeah, the
Let's
Academy is not a fan of horror at all.
right. But I mean, makeup and just his portrayal, like, is just, I mean, not many actors can go into a character like that. And granted, he had a lot of makeup and they used a lot of CGI. Like, I get that, but still, he ultimately did the character itself like really, really well. So, but whatever.
Oh no, absolutely. And one of the uh, factoids that I found online referenced the fact that him and I forget the kid's name, but it was a kid that played Eddie Kasprak.
Mm.
That scene with him coming out of the whatever when he unfolds and
The fridge, yeah.
just yeah
Ugh.
crawling across the floor and getting up in Eddie's face and all of that. That kid was the first kid that actually had an on-screen scene during filming with Skarsgård,
Nice.
and it he did so well with that like legitimately the kid was having a nervous breakdown.
Oh, poor baby. Well,
And
that must be why his
Skarsgård, what?
reaction on screen was so good.
Yeah, and Skarsgård was concerned that he was, traumatizing the kid, and he's like, "No, you're just doing a really good freaking job."
Yeah. The guy's like, we want them to be traumatized. Okay, so the awards that it did get, it was nominated for 4 Saturn Awards, didn't win any. It was nominated for 1 Critics' Choice Award for Best Horror Sci-Fi Film. It was nominated for 4 MTV Movie Awards, and it won for Best On-Screen Team for the kids. And then it was nominated for 3 Teen Choice Awards. So it only won one, like, of the kind of bigger awards, but it was nominated for a lot. Bill Skarsgård was nominated like in several of these categories as like best horror villain. So I don't know what other
As
movies
he
came
should
out
have
that
been.
year that would have beat him, but I didn't look it up. So, but yeah, the Teen's Choice Awards and the MTV Movie Awards liked it a lot. So that's kind of something, I guess.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, most of the time, horror movies aren't going to get that kind of love and respect that they deserve to
Yeah,
get.
definitely. Which is why I'm a little worried about Sinners, because it, not spoiling anything, but it really deserves. Michael B. Jordan deserves an Oscar nomination. I will have to see what else happens to whether or not I think he should win, but at the very least, he should be nominated, and so should a lot of the other people in that movie. But once it goes horror, it's like, sorry. Then it's like, oh, they're going to ignore it. So we'll see. Damn it.
Yeah,
Sorry. In just a few short months, all of that will be gone. All
well,
right.
hopefully sooner rather than later.
Well, it
So
just got pushed back to the end of September now, so we'll see. All right.
that's still not that far away. It'll be here before you know it.
No, it's not, but it was supposed to be August. So,
Oh,
okay. It chapter 1. Um,
yes. Would you like to let the listeners know what the movie is about?
I will. 7 young outcasts in Derry, Maine are about to face their worst nightmare an ancient shape-shifting evil that emerges from the sewer every 27 years to prey on the town's children. Banding together over the course of one horrifying summer, the friends must overcome their own personal fears to battle the murderous, bloodthirsty clown known as Pennywise. Silencio,
Bum bum bum.
por favor. Nobody needs to hear your Facebook pings.
Normally, I have that particular chat muted, but
Well,
I
well, well.
unmuted it earlier when I was referencing you and your damn gypsy curses. So we're not going down that road again. But
Anyway.
so obviously, one of the main differences in this movie is the difference in performances between Tim Curry in 1990 and Skarsgård in 2017, and the fact that literally Skarsgård had 4 minutes of dialogue in this entire freaking 2.5 hour long movie.
Yeah. I mean, these kids had like amazing chemistry. And, you know, I know that it's a horror movie, but I still like that they really did appeal to the teenage demographic to watch this movie, and even like the younger, maybe. I mean, casting Finn Wolfhard was the best thing they could have done. The other kids were relatively unknowns, but Finn Wolfhard, if you don't know or were you living under a rock, is Mike Wheeler on Stranger Things. That was the first, when I saw the first preview, I was like, Mike Wheeler, what are you doing here? But he's
Yeah,
arguably the most famous person in this movie besides, you know, maybe Bill Skarsgård, but that's a maybe. So I think, you know, and his character, the funny thing too is that his character is so completely different from Mike. And so it was really cool to see Finn have that versatility to go from playing a character like Mike to playing a character like Richie, who is just literally a trash mouth. And that kid's a good actor. I mean, he's done some stuff, but I think he's gonna have a good career. But all of these kids had great chemistry
yeah.
together.
Well, and I think that's what makes this movie work as well as it does. If you have horrible chemistry, then things will tend to fall apart rather quickly. And probably one of my biggest complaints about the second one was the fact that the adults, to me, didn't feel like they had the same level of chemistry that the kids had.
Yeah, I agree, but I also think that I don't know, maybe I need to watch it again and pay more attention. The first half of the movie, they're not really supposed to have good chemistry. They haven't seen each other in, you know, well, this is one of my complaints about all the movies, and we'll get to that later. But for argument's sake, let's just say none of them have seen each other in 27 years. So, and they don't remember everything they went through that summer except for Mike. So I think they're
True.
supposed to be awkward for a while. But I will agree at the end of the day, at the end of the movie, they still didn't have the same chemistry, but also they're grown ass adults who have been through their lives. They're not young kids all banded together to face this monster, you know. So I kind of get it, but I see both sides, I guess. And I think they're
So,
supposed to be supportive. So, um, okay, so the opening scene. First of all, the title, the title, main title, like score, one of the best, just like most chilling, but still beautiful at the same time. That piano, like the main theme, you know, kind of thing, is like it's so gorgeous. And I've like the whole score is really
Tim,
good with that. They really just like first they suck you in with like the little kids laughing and then and it's all scary and then it immediately goes to like this rainy day and this like soft piano, but they have the sharp notes So it's a little foreboding, but it's still beautiful and like really aesthetic with the pouring down rain and all that.
To me, that piano intro music thing very much felt like the piano music in Silence of the Lambs that
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter is listening to all the time,
Yeah.
especially in
Yeah,
the
I would
jail
agree.
in Tennessee right before he bashes the freaking cop's head in and cuts his face off and wears his face out of the
Yeah.
spoiler alerts for a movie we're not even talking about.
Yeah, I think that
So
the beginning of this movie is great. You know, it immediately sucks you in. The whole aesthetic of this movie is just amazing. They really captured a small town in the 80s. They really captured like the relationships, like, but even just aside from the characters, the town itself is just like the whole aesthetic of this movie is so perfectly done. And I know some people
yeah,
are mad that they changed the timelines, but I don't care. I mean, I think it's cool that they did it that
I
way.
I get why they did it because the younger demographic probably isn't going to relate as much
Right.
if it's kids growing up in the 50s.
Right.
And yeah, granted, even the 80s might be a stretch
Yeah, but the 80s were
because
cool at that time because of Stranger Things and other stuff. So the 80s were
sure,
like, in and people were into it. So I think that might have been another reason they did that.
but you know, for the most part, that especially that opening scene, I love how however you pronounce his last name stayed fairly faithful to both the book and 1990, especially
Hmm.
with that bedroom interaction between um, Georgie and Bill,
Yeah.
and you know, sending Georgie off to go play with his paper boat in the rain, and then, I mean,
Well, that's why you put the Gulf wax on it so
uh,
the paper doesn't disintegrate. And then
yeah,
it just,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. But I mean, it literally took you know that scene to realize they're not going to hold back with this movie because
Yeah.
I mean, elephant in the room, and you and I already talked about it briefly off, in our DMs, but um, while for the most part they capture the essence of that interaction between Pennywise and Georgie, when it comes time for Georgie's climactic moment, they don't hold back at all. They
No.
go to him biting into the arm and ripping the arm off, and Georgie coming out of the with the no arm and
Yeah.
blood and Lord, I remember sitting in the movie theater and seeing that for the first time and thinking to myself, "Oh my God, we're in for a hell of a freaking ride."
Yeah. And I feel like I held my breath that entire scene because we know what's coming. And anybody who's
Hmm.
seen the first movie or has read the book, you know what's about to happen, but you're still watching it in a new situation where you don't know exactly how they're going to do it. And so it's like I'm holding my breath because I know any minute. And it did not disappoint. That,
At all.
yeah. And that little boy, for the little screen time he had, he did emotion so well. Every time when he screams Billy's name before he gets pulled, I like my heart just like it hurts. And
Yep.
then at the end of the movie, when he's crying, I love you, I want to go home. I'm like, oh, that little boy did a good job for his, 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's no such thing as small parts, only small actors. And
Exactly.
that kid that kid was given gold to work with, and he built the freaking Taj Mahal.
As a prior theater performer, I wholeheartedly disagree with that statement. There are plenty of small, inconsequential parts,
Right.
but I digress. I've been a few.
So,
Fuck
Tim
that old.
Curry and
Hold on.
Penny.
Fuck that old lady that saw him sticking his head in a sewer and then went inside and then came out and saw blood in the street and then went and didn't tell anybody. Fuck her.
Yeah,
I hope her cat ate her
yeah.
face off and then she died.
Well, I mean, there is the dynamic that they beat to death throughout the entire 2.5 hours. That's the curse of dairy is the adults either don't see or don't feed into what's going on in dairy. So that's one of the reasons why the evil continues to grow and grow and grow and come back every 7 years,
7.
28 years.
27. But they played that very much like she could see him. So, like, I get where, like the
Oh yeah.
dad doesn't see all the blood and it's like whatever. But that was very much conveyed to us that she saw that little boy sticking his head in a sewer in the rain. Forget about clowns and people killing kids. That water could have easily swept him into that drain, like
Hmm.
without anything else bad happening to him. Like, and she could have stopped it. So again, fuck her. I hate her.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Sorry, makes me real mad.
so absolutely positively nothing against Tim Curry by any stretch of the imagination. Um, I know I joke around a lot about this being quote unquote fake Pennywise. At the end of the day, all of that is a fucking joke because Skarsgård did an amazing job
He
in this
killed it.
role, and he didn't. He easily could have taken the role and just copied and did what Tim Curry did
Right.
37 years earlier, but
Whew.
he didn't, and he took the role and made it his own and turned the volume up. You know, Tim Curry, had the volume at a nice level 7, and Skarsgård turned it up to freaking 27.
Yeah. Well,
So,
the thing I always say about that, and I know that I've said this to you before, but like I'll say it here. They both did great, especially Tim Curry with what he was given. That was the way that he was supposed to be portrayed. But the thing that I think the biggest difference between these two is that Skarsgård's Pennywise, you immediately know you're supposed to be scared of this fucking guy. Like, there's nothing welcoming about him. He does not look like someone you want to fuck with. Tim Curry's Pennywise, before he goes feral and batshit crazy, looks like a regular clown that you'd see at a circus. So I think there's values to each of theirs differently. At least with Tim Curry, his looked like a clown that you could walk up to and take a balloon from, and then he turns into a monster and bites your arm off. So they're just different. And I think I prefer Skarsgård's just a little bit more, but also they had a lot more to work with him, like CGI and just all that other stuff. So they're both terrifying.
and like you addressed earlier in the episode as well, when they made the original miniseries back in 1990, there was a lot more regulations and stuff they had to be mindful of, and it had to have handcuffed production of that movie because if
Yeah.
they'd had a more free reign to do whatever they wanted, you may have gotten a different performance out of Tim Curry than what you got.
But
But
for
then at the
being on
same, I mean,
TV,
you
he
may
was still
not.
pretty
I mean,
fine.
oh no, absolutely 100%. And even like Dre will still tell you that at 1990, no,
Yeah, it scared the
that's
shit out of me. One of the reasons
That
I'm
for
scared of
him is like
clowns.
the freaking teacup scene in
Get out.
that. Yeah, Get Out. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Again, he deserved an Oscar
so
nomination.
absolutely. What were the big glaring negatives that you found in this movie that turned you off?
I mean, there's not really anything. The only thing that bothers me, and this we have to tie in the second movie, and then this is also a problem for me in the original. And it has been over a decade since I've read the book, so maybe I feel like the book doesn't go into this either. Okay, so we're supposed to believe that these kids haven't seen each other in 27 years. We know Beverly moves away and we know Ben moves away. But theoretically, the rest of those boys stayed in Derry and grew up together. So did they just not talk to each other ever again after that happened? Or did they like grow up and graduate together, but just didn't see each other after high school? That's a plot hole for me that I don't really care for because in the part two, and even in the original, when they meet as adults, they all act like they haven't seen each other since that summer. And that can't be accurate.
Yeah.
So that bothers
No.
me. But that bothered me with the first one too. So, um,
Yeah, I totally get that.
there's nothing else that really bothers me. I mean, I'm not going to lie. This is almost a perfect film to me, like, especially as a horror movie. Like, there's not really anything I don't like about it. Um,
So for
it was
me,
parts of it were a little gory, but it's supposed to be. But that's
oh
just
yeah,
my personal taste. I didn't like the sick people with Eddie, and especially in the second
no,
one, the leper guy was like, I have to turn away from this, but that's not really a complaint. It's just I don't
yeah,
watch that part. So
no. So this movie was smack dab in the middle of King Renaissance, all about the same time, and you got the long-awaited Dark Tower movie came out just before this. You had this, Doctor Sleep, Pet Cemetery, the remake, and you know,
and then the series stuff. I mean, The Outsider was not too long
yeah,
after this, or might have been closer to the second movie, but and they did the Stand reboot, which I think was later. But you're right. Everybody was bringing back King. Like King had this huge resurgence in the late 2000s.
yeah, and I think Doctor Sleep probably helped relaunch that. And we talked about
Yeah.
Doctor Sleep, and we talked about how much both of us love that movie.
Yeah.
Um, it kind of sort of stumbled a little bit with the Dark Tower, but we're not ripping that band-aid off on this episode. Um, Pet Cemetery, the remake,
Was not good.
I'm not ripping that. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not ripping that band-aid off either. But I mean, for as much hype as there was behind this movie, and there was a lot of hype,
A lot.
let's be
Yeah.
honest. This is probably one of his most, I would put it probably top 3 or 4 most loved stories that he's written, if
And
not even
one of the
higher
best
than that.
adaptations.
Yeah. And not that 1990 is a bad adaptation. It is what it is. And
It just leaves so much out. And again, we know they
there's
had
a
I just
lot there's a lot of source material, and you only
right.
have 4 hours to convey all of that. So obviously, a lot's going to get left on the cutting room floor.
But see, to me, that's where I am of the opinion where it's like, if you can't do it right, don't do it. Like, I hate saying that because I enjoy watching it occasionally and it's not terrible, but part of me just wishes they just hadn't done it. because it's like, why take a novel like that and then just completely trash the adaptation? Not because you wanted to do it your own way, like Kubrick in The Shining, but because you just didn't have enough time and it was on television, so you had to do what you had to do. Like,
Yeah.
especially nowadays, too. I'm like, if you can't make this right, then just don't do it. Like, come on.
Well, there's a lot less, and I know I've said it before, and it probably won't be the last time you'll ever hear these words come out of my mouth, but today you can do a lot more on TV today than you could, what, 35 years ago.
Right.
So, you know, obviously, I mean, I've seen, I don't know how many times Charlie Hunnam's bare ass on my TV screen because
Sons of Anarchy.
they can show they can show it on Sons of Anarchy left and right. So, and I've also seen American Horror Stories too.
Yeah.
So, you know,
But even with that, you've got, limited series, which is basically the new mini series. And
hmm
so not only do we have cable channels that have been showing TV shows, but now they've started doing the mini series slash limited series where you can take a story and turn it into 7, 8, 9 episodes and really get the whole thing out there. And so
yeah,
I'm glad that, especially with King's work, that's really what they should be doing with it. And now we have the Institute. They did that with The Outsider. I know they did that Stand reboot. Um,
yeah.
there's a lot of his stories that could really benefit from a limited series.
Especially the big, thick ones like The Stand and It, 11/22/63,
Right.
The
Which they did.
Outsider.
Yeah.
Huh?
Also, they did 11/22/63 like back before limited series were a big deal. I think it was on
Yeah.
Prime, right? Was it on Prime?
Voodoo.
It was, or oh, okay. It was one of the first ones I remember, like first limited series I really remember. But yeah,
Yeah, and literally that was the reason why I got a Hulu subscription was because I loved reading that book
yeah.
and I really wanted to see it. And for the most part, it's a really good series.
I have not tackled that one yet.
It's time travel and the Kennedy assassination. It's not
Yeah,
everybody's cup of tea.
kind of crazy.
So, um,
So, is
but
there anything you didn't like?
not. um, No, and I'm grasping at straws with this one, but I think the only thing I could really probably come up with is the point that we talked about earlier today, where um, I brought up the whole difference in the two Beaverly's dads.
Yeah,
With so for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, obviously
I'm listening, but I'm getting my phone.
the Bev's dad in 1990 was an abusive asshole, and then in 2017, it is he's an abusive asshole, but it's implied in a we're behind the curtain, but there's really no curtain kind of
Sorry.
way that he also has SA'd his daughter.
Yeah, it's not very thinly veiled. And I honestly thought they tackled that really, really well in this movie. They
Yeah,
did it very tastefully to where you understand that that's what's happening. Whereas in the first one, you think he's just a mean drunk and maybe slaps her around a little, which is still bad. But in the
yeah.
book, he is sexually assaulting her. Like, so I thought it was really tasteful how they did it without making it super, super obvious. But that guy played a good, like, he was so creepy. Like, when she comes home and he realizes, that she's got her period, and he like grabs the end of her hair strands and is like playing with it, and then he like goes above her head and like smells her head. Oh my god, I got the chills. Like
Yeah,
that guy played a good fucking creeper. Like that's probably the scariest thing that guy did in this movie to me. And not beyond anything else he said or like whatever, that because that definitely tells you that that's what he's doing. Ugh.
yeah. It, there's like I said, it's literally grasping at straws, but at the same time, it does bring an element to the story that wasn't there, what, 27 years earlier.
So you're saying they didn't need to do that? Is that what you're kind of saying?
I don't necessarily think they needed to,
Yeah.
but at the same time, there's the other side of the coin. It does enhance that dynamic in a
Well, it's
weird,
staying faithful to
creepy.
the book too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I can see your point, but I was glad that they put that in there because, again, faithful to the book. And they also, like I say, handled it very well without it being gratuitous and, whatever. So,
yeah.
um, do you have like a
But
favorite?
other than that, no, it's fairly close to being, like you said, a perfect movie.
Yeah. What was like your favorite? Like, do you have a favorite scene that's like the scene that had the best effects, or the scene that like shocked you the most, like as far as effects go, not like dialogue or whatever else, but just as far as like the in your face effects?
I would say probably the bathroom scene with Bev and the blood.
That's what I was thinking too.
I
That's where
mean,
I was going with that.
because I mean they handled it really well in, again, back to the original, but 1990
Yeah,
with basically a blood bubble bubbling up out of the sink and then just exploding all over the place.
and I actually
But
thought that was really fucking cool.
it was cool, and I'm definitely 100% not hating on it. But with the whole, yeah,
The spraying,
blood
the
and the everything and the whatever coming out and attacking and
it
all
was
of,
very Nightmare on Elm Street.
very much so. And 100% shout out to the fact that
Yeah,
it's almost like a Freddy tribute. But that would
yeah,
probably
that scene
be
is so wild.
that, and probably that opening scene with Georgie and
Like with
Pennywise.
Pennywise, or
And yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think so.
Well,
I
because
think
on top of it, too, also you get that immediate, early in the movie, you get the first transformation from just human face Pennywise into those like razor sharp teeth and
hmm
all of the
ugh.
so
I was gonna say that one, and then like, and I know again this is CGI. It's not really practical effects, but it still was just like stunning but horrifying. Was when first of all, I love this interaction when Pennywise has Beverly by the throat, and she's like, "I'm not afraid of you," and he's like, "You will be." And then his mouth opens and he gets her into the deadlights, and all the way his mouth looks with like all the lights and stuff inside or whatever.
oh yeah,
That was like, it scared me, but also it was just like stunning. Like I was looking at it going, wow, like that's incredible.
you were going into the deadlights
Yeah. Okay, so you want to hear something funny? This will make you laugh.
always.
Um, so we both know I'm a Swiftie, love Taylor. But every time I listen to 22, when she sings, we got to forget about the deadlines, I always think of deadlights. Like I know she's saying deadlines, but I always hear it as deadlights.
Well, I mean,
Time we forget about the deadlights. That's right.
I still stand on the soapbox that every time I listen to uh,
Blank
Blank
space.
Space, I still, unless I physically force myself to hear "Got a Long List of Ex-Lovers," I still hear "Call All My Starbucks Lovers."
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Okay.
so
Do you have any favorite quotes? Richie had all the best dialogue. I only
ev-
wrote down four, and three of them are Richie's.
everything that comes out of freaking Richie's mouth,
You talk after that jack out.
from start to finish. I mean, Richie is just the sarcastic little twit that we all wanted to be growing up, and only
Sorry.
a small handful of us could ever achieve being.
Yeah, he was hilarious. I loved.
And
Oh, good.
um, Muschietti actually cast Finn Wolfhard in the role because he felt like his personality definitely was closest match to the personality of Richie Tozier.
Which is crazy because, well, not crazy because obviously it was a good casting choice, but because if you've watched Stranger Things, him playing Mike in Stranger Things, you would immediately think they would cast him as Bill based on his portrayal
Mhm.
of Mike. Like, I was actually surprised to see him as Richie, and then he just fucking nailed it. Complete,
Yeah,
like that kid's not going to get typecast because he can do like completely different, completely different things. Sorry.
yeah. Oh no, you're fine. Yeah,
um.
I think the future is bright for this kid.
Oh yeah. I definitely love this was one of Abby's favorites. Like he goes on his little like rant, and then he's like, "Now I'm gonna have to kill this fucking clown." We used to
Oh,
say that all the time. Um, and then go blow your dad, you mullet wearing asshole.
oh my god. I'm not gonna lie. I could not stand the guy who played Henry Bowers in this movie.
Oh, I know.
Like like everything about him was just I
He
wanted
has
to beat
fucking problems.
I have never wanted to beat a kid's ass in
Yeah.
my life until this movie. I was like, I don't care. I'm 40 something years old at this point. I will beat a kid's ass into the fucking like the first interaction I believe it was when he sees Bev and he makes reference to the fact that, you
Oh,
know, all you have to do is ask nice like I did as he's rubbing his fucking
ugh,
crotch. It's like
fucking asshole.
mm,
Hate him.
mm,
And like, what? I mean, I get that he's a bully, but this kid is way more than a bully. He's a fucking psychopath. I mean, he is
oh yeah.
carving his name into Ben's stomach. Like, who does that? Like, I mean, that's
He
beyond being a
literally
bully.
was gonna shoot a cat on
I
the
know.
screen.
Like, I'm not sad that he got possessed and killed his dad and went to jail because his dad got what he deserved too. Fuck that guy too.
Oh no, his dad was an abusive asshole too. That
You know what it reminds me of? You remember that episode of How I Met Your Mother where they talk about the chain of screaming? Where
yes,
like Marshall gets yelled at work, and then they talk about the whole chain of screaming. Where like when you get yelled at, then you. It's very much like his dad's a bully, so then he's got to be a bully to be tough, but really he's just like whatever.
yeah.
Um, I also love when Richie says, "Who invited Molly Ringwald to the group?" It's so
Oh,
funny.
only for the pure fact that literally these kids have no fucking idea who the hell Molly Ringwald even is.
Well, but it was 1989 in the movie, so
Oh yeah,
But yeah, that was funny. And then I say this all the time, like to George, or like Abby and I would say it too. Whenever something's bullshit, we'd be like, "They're gazebos. They're bullshit." And he
Oh
is
my
so
god.
cute. To me, he's the cutest kid in this whole movie. I just want to squeeze him.
I I really feel like those seven kids really captured the essence of those seven characters.
They did. I mean, the kid that played Stan, like, perfectly captured Stan.
Yeah.
And they did so well at being emotional. Like, first of all, the kid playing Bill doing the stutter, like, that was really impressive. But then, like, the parts like with Stan and Eddie where they're like freaking out, screaming and crying, like, they did such a good job that I was like really like scared for them. Like, I really felt their terror. Pearl, shut up. Sorry, everybody. My cat sees that the dog is outside and she wants to go outside. This happens every night. So yeah.
Uh,
Shh. Top fives?
yeah. Would you like to go first?
Sure.
Since I know you really don't want to have to listen to mine.
Oh, I don't care. I'm just trying to put them in order because I didn't do it. So I chose top five jump scares from the movie because I've seen some complaints about people saying that they didn't really do good jump scares or whatever in this movie, and I disagree. I thought there was plenty. um, I'm just gonna say five in no particular order because I haven't ranked them. Definitely Beverly in the sink drain when she pulls the stuff out and it gets really quiet and then it just starts like spouting blood in her face. Like that definitely made me jump out of my seat. Um, when Bill's in the basement and he's talking to Georgie and he's like yelling, "You'll float too," and then it turns into Pennywise and there's a second and then Pennywise dashes for him. That got me. Um, the projector scene, the projector screen thing, when he jumps out and comes
Yeah.
after them, like that whole scene was so well done and so terrifying. Again, one of those scenes where I'm like holding my breath, like when is the jump scare gonna happen? And they got you good. Um, I think probably when the jump scare happens with Pennywise and Richie, because Richie is afraid of clowns. He's in this room, and it's kind of like, he sees the doll of himself in the coffin, which is fucking terrifying. And then he's like looking around the room, and then he jumps out at him. Like, that was like really, really scary. And then obviously the best one, I think, is when Pennywise gets Georgie, because it's the opening jump scare of the movie, and he
Yeah.
just, the way he chomps
It
off his arm, and like, yeah,
it it
that got me
sets the
good.
tone for what you're going to get for the next 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Funny story, real quick. This is about it, chapter two, but went to see it in the theater with some of my friends, and it was like a big group of people. And one of my best friends, Megan, she's like, "I'm gonna sit next to you because I know if I sit next to so and so, they'll scream or whatever." And I realized that she and I had never seen a horror movie together in a theater. Like, we had never watched a horror movie together that I hadn't seen, and so I didn't want to like break her heart, but I wanted to be like, "You should not be sitting by me." So we're watching it, and the baseball scene where the little girl goes under the bleachers and she's talking to
Uh-huh.
Pennywise, and they're like counting to three, and he says one, two, and she's like, "You forgot to say," and then he jumps out. I screamed so loud. She was like, "What the fuck?" Sitting next to me. I was like, "I should have told you this before. You shouldn't have sat by me." Like, people laughed at me in the theater. I wasn't the only one, but I think I yelled the loudest. I like jumped out of my seat and she was like, I need to move.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
All
Okay,
right.
top five.
So we're going with the low hanging fruit because it is something that definitely creeps out more people than I ever thought it would. But we're going to go with scariest clowns of all time.
Nice.
Honorable mention um, is not an individual clown; it is a group of clowns from outer space that happen to be killers.
Nice.
They are the killer clowns from outer space. Um, Number five, we're gonna go with the Clown Prince of Terror from 2008, Heath Ledger's version of the Joker.
Ah, yes. Good one.
Let's see, number four. The clown from Poltergeist.
Thank you. I was afraid you were going to leave that off. And I was like, that and it 1990, but really the poltergeist clown is what started my fear of clowns. That clown for being
Yeah,
a doll is so fucking scary. Like,
exactly. Let's see, number three, we're gonna go House with Thousand Corpses, Captain Spaulding,
Hmm, I haven't seen that.
the Eternal. Yeah,
I don't see
it's
Rob
not.
Zombie.
I guess if you don't like Saw, I
Yeah.
guarantee you will not like House with Thousand Corpses.
Yeah. I don't see it as a big gap in my cinematic education if I don't see it.
No. Uh,
Two.
Number two. Sorry to today's subject matter, but number two is going to be Pennywise.
Okay. This Pennywise or 90 Pennywise, or did you just put them
Oh
together?
no, it's the
Okay. Okay.
whole essence of the Pennywise.
Okay.
Um, because number one, whether you want to watch these movies or not, this fucker took being a clown and went to the next
Oh,
level with the terrifyingness of being a clown, and that would be Art the Clown. Hats off, shout out to everybody's favorite Chancey Gripe again because he's the one that got me to watch those damn movies. But yes, Art the
yeah,
Clown,
he's
number
scary.
one.
He's definitely terrifying. I'll give you that.
And extra honorable mention to the OG scariest clown of all time, blurring the lines between fiction and reality, John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, except he was a real, you know,
Well, no, that's why I was like, because everything on my list was a fictitious clown. He was a real life psychopath.
yeah. What about Krusty? He's kind of creepy, even though he's animated.
He's a dirty asshole man pervert.
Yeah. Pearl, shut up. Sorry, everybody.
Well, I mean, luckily for Pearl, we're getting ready to wrap up said episode. But before we do, um, what were your overall thoughts of the movie?
I love this movie. I went into it with very high expectations and was afraid I was going to be disappointed, and I was not. I think it's really true to the book as best as it can be. I think aesthetically and, musically, like score wise, it's all like chef's kiss. To me, it's a perfect horror movie. Like I would say is almost as close to perfect as they get. So, you know me and my whorishness. I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5 gazebos. They're bullshit.
Ah, so yeah, everything that Amanda just said, I obviously share a brain with her, so I second everything that she said. Um, this movie is great. I went into this movie with incredibly high expectations and was expecting to be disappointed because at the end of the day, I've been a King fan for decades and I know most times, 8 times out of 10, you're going to get disappointed by a King adaptation.
They tend to overpromise and underdeliver, but this one
Yeah,
did not.
exactly. And this one absolutely did not. So 100% hats off to Andy Muschietti for delivering and not shattering my heart into a million pieces. Uh, 100% shout out to the kids, though. The kids were amazing in these roles. Um,
They really
I'm gonna
were.
go take the easy road. I'm gonna take the easy road, and I'm just gonna go 5 out of 5 red balloons because it's one of the
Nice.
most iconic images from the
Oh,
movie,
definitely.
and I can't show it because of the way the light's coming through the window, but it is the red balloon is on my Stephen King sleeve on my arm.
Very nice.
I have it tattooed on my arm. So this was lots of
Oh,
fun.
yes. I also want to say real quick, we didn't talk about this, and a lot of people may not even know who this guy is, but Seth Graham Smith was one of the producers on this. He's the guy who wrote Abraham Lincoln Vampire
Mhm.
Hunter, and then he helped produce that movie too. And he's actually been a producer on a lot of horror movies, but he's wrote some really great horror novels. So when I saw his name in the credits the first time I saw it, I was like, yes, this is going to be good. Love that guy. I love Abraham
Somebody
Lincoln
that
Jr.
has
Do not care
horror
what anybody says.
appreciation in his heart like we do.
Yeah, very much. And Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is pretty good too. Just saying. That was also one of his. He did a whole series of books based on classic
I
novels.
I
They're
did
amazing.
not. Yeah, he did. I love them all.
Yeah,
Pride,
same.
Prejudice, Zombies, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. Mwah. So absolutely lots of fun. I'm glad we finally got to discuss this movie. Um,
Yeah.
my sentiments may not be shared when next we revisit this portion of the franchise.
Whatever.
Maybe it
It's my
will.
favorite in the
I don't know.
series. So we'll see.
Well, at least somebody will have some love for it then. But um, we
I'll be
can't
wearing
end
my
the episode as
heads
always
up
without
shirt.
thanking the. We can't end the episode though without saying thank you to the listeners for being here and having our backs each and every week. You guys are incredible. We appreciate and love every one of you individually, as a whole, in every essence of the word, all the love. Um, like Amanda said earlier, coming up next week on An Evening at the Movies, we will be talking Jason versus the Strangers and discussing Friday the 13th, part
Womp womp.
2. I may have to have her host that because if I can't spit it out, then it's going to be a long episode. So, and then coming up afterwards, we've got Hitchcock month coming up in August, and we'll have more next week about the movies we'll be discussing then. Stephen King birthday bonanza is coming up. We'll start working on getting movies out, and then Halloween Horror Fest after that. So we're cooking right along into 2025. Before you know it, 2026 will be here, and an evening at the movies will be
Yep.
5 years old.
Woo!
Whoop whoop! So lots of fun. Summerween Part 4 next week. Be here or
Be
whatever.
weird. I don't know.
I was
Whatever.
gonna do the whole be. here or B squared, but then
Yeah.
that's not how it goes, and that doesn't rhyme, so it doesn't work. So, with all that said, deuces and co-host, take us home.
I'm about to lock this cat in the garage or something. All right. Thanks everybody for watching and listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you all come back for an evening at the movies. Goodbye.
Beep beep, Richie.